What's up, YouTube? For today's video, we have a mono ghost Pokemon team. This one was meant to be for Halloween, but it's probably gonna be a little bit belated. But hope your Halloween was good if you celebrate that where you live. Tonight, I'll be using mono ghost teams. This means Pokemon, 6 Pokemon with only the ghost type. And there's actually very few of them when I looked out through all the Pokemon. Let's get a like on the video, people. If you enjoy the team battles, you're hyped for them to come back. I'm going to be giving you tons and tons of battles this month and next month. All right, we got our first random opponent here. We've got a Banette lead, so it's a family feud here. We got 2 ghosts. Now, this Banette is a physical set, so we've got Sword Dance, Trailblaze, Shadow Sneak, and Gunk Shot. So I'm going to be going for Shadow Sneak on the Banette. I got some pretty good damage there, but it's got a Trick Room up, and it's able to, one-shot me with knockoff there. Not much I could really swap into because, my entire team was weak to knockoff. My item also was Citrus Berry, so I thought this might be a good time to swap into Dusknoir here. Dusknoir, I can see, and now that it's got a Focus Sash. And this is a bulky, Calm Mind boosting Dusknoir. Dusknoir can run so many different sets. So we've got Calm Mind, Pain Slip, Shadow Ball, and Psychic. I've got the Key Berry as the item too. So I figured under the Trick Room with Dusknoir's really low speed, I'd be able to at least get 1 Calm Mind on. And instead of attacking me, they went for Curse. I was like, oh, curse you. So Curse is going to faint the Banette, and it's going to put a curse onto my Dusknoir, which is going to eat away 1/4 of my health every single turn. Now, the next Pokemon to come in is going to be Ursaluna. Now, I can't do much to this, I'll be honest. I'm like, man, what do I do here? Do I just go for Psychic, try and set up a Calm Mind? Do I go for special defense drops? And they're going to outspeed me and get an Earthquake off. That does a lot of damage. That is also going to activate my Key Berry. So after getting hit by a physical attack, that gives me a +1 in defense. However, it did outspeed me under Trick Room. It's a very slow Pokemon as well. I did get my special defensive drop, but Curse is going to hit my Dusknoir, and I'm going to be fainted the next turn. Plus now they've got their Flame Mob up there, so it's just a typical, Guts Ursaluna set. Very powerful. At this stage, I was like, maybe I can keep Dusknoir for a little bit later. How about I go into Mismagius? So Mismagius is another mono ghost Pokemon, and it's got Levitate as well. So I thought, well, you won't be able to use Facade. You won't be able to use Earthquake. What can you actually do to me? You can't use Drain Punch, It's a pretty dang good counter. So this is a Troll set. We've got Thunder Wave and Will-O-Wisp, and I had Destiny Bond on here because I just wanted to see what they had, or if they had anything. However, they have nothing to hit me with. I guess they were just seeing what moves I had too, so I was like, I really need to keep this Mismagius for this Ursaluna. It's a good counter. Eventually, if we had if it got down to our last 2 Pokemon, they would just die to burn. Now we got the Ursaluna swapping out, and we got the Farigiraf coming in here. This was also quite a good Pokemon because a good counter for my team, because I couldn't use a lot of my team had Ghost moves too. Also, every Terror I had to do on a mono team was Ghost, so it's not like I could quickly do a Terror Blast for a super effective type or a defensive type, which made things quite difficult. Which, added to the challenge. So I thought I'm going to save Mismagius for that Ursaluna. That'd be a great swap-in for Earthquake, basically. I don't think it was going to go for Facade at all. And I just sacked off my Dusknoir here. It had a little bit of health. It wasn't really doing too much. So it's got Shadow Ball too. So it's a normal type, and it's also got Shadow Ball. So that's very good count off my team. So I'm thinking, how do I get around this? How am I going to get around this Pokemon? I've got Will-O-Wisp on it, but that's about it. So going to Houndstone here. Now, this Houndstone actually did pretty well. It was a real bulky set. So it wasn't like a flat-out physical sweeper like a lot of them are. So this was Max Health EVs. We've got Max Defense, Impish Nature, Salt Vest, and I've got Fluffy as the ability. Body Press, Last Respect, Shadow Sneak, and Play Rough. So I tried to give my Pokemon as many different Ghost moves for this team as possible. In this stage, I really couldn't do any damage to it outside of Body Press. But it was pretty impressive tanking some of the special moves as well with Assault Vest. I got a lot of good KOs there, or a lot of good lifts. So finally I'm getting Farigiraf onto a low man health. It pops a Power Plate. That's going to do nothing at all because of Fluffy ability. So basically what Fluffy does, you take half damage from any contact moves there. The only bad thing is you take 2 times when you get hit by a fire type. Next Pokemon is Cramorant. So good to see Cramorant. I really like Cramorant. Now I can go for Last Respects. It's not doing a lot of damage because I've got no attack EVs. I'm sort of just relying on its base power there. So at this stage, I've got 150 base power for Dusknoir and Banette. So that's why I felt the bulky set was pretty good. Like, even with no EVs, if you set it in late game, it could do a lot of damage with body press and, you know, Last Respects. So Cramorant is down. I got paralyzed by a Pikachu, and Ursaluna's going to slide back in. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to outspeed you if, you know, the Trick Room is up, but it's not up, so I'm going to get, you know, fainted by Earthquake. So that's the end of Houndstone. So I'm thinking to myself, I guess I can bait them here, right? They've got Earthquake. They're just going to spam Earthquake. That's their best move to use here. So I go into Spectrier. So Spectrier is another Mono Ghost Pokemon. So what I did, I swapped it in, quickly swapped it out, and went back into Mismagius to bait an Earthquake. Now, it's not like they had Headlong Rush. I was like, wait, they've got Earthquake, Headlong Rush, Facade, obviously, and yeah, they can't do anything at all. So Mismagius has to completely counter, but I can't really do anything to them either. But I'm not going to lose this matchup, right? So I thought, you're never going to expect me to go for a Ghost move, right? So I'll go for a Ghost move. So they swapped out here, out of the Ursaluna, and they went into this Abomination. So the Therian form, I don't know whether it's a snake and a turtle, like, mixed together. Now, this caused me quite a few problems here. So I had 3 Pokemon left, and they also had 3 Pokemon left here, right? So we got a Terra Fairy here. So I thought the best way probably to get around this would be Destiny Bond, right? Now, this is a Bright Powder set as well. I got Bright Powder, Thunderwave, and Will-O-Wisp. And this thing was just, you know, your typical Draining Kiss set. It works very, very well on there. I'm assuming it's got Calm Mind as well. It's excellent, and it's very bulky too. So I thought, well, all I got to do is just string them along for a bit and then go for Destiny Bond and faint this, right? I know I'll get rid of my counter for Ursaluna, but I think my other 2 Pokemon should be able to get around that. So they went for a second Draining Kiss there. They're getting the health back. This thing is difficult now. I have to get rid of it, right? So I was like, okay, this is great. Let's go for Destiny Bond. Now I've got them where I got them where I want them. So there's a Destiny Bond, and guess what happened this turn? They got paralyzed. I'm like, no! So that sucked, right? So my moveset sort of worked against me a little bit there, but they were pretty lucky, you know, not to attack that turn. So at this stage, I was like, well, I guess, you know, they got good luck not attacking me this turn. How about I get good luck this turn and they get paralyzed too, right? So I went for Hex, good damage there, but of course they didn't get paralyzed that turn and they got rewarded by RNG there. That's how it is sometimes, but very unlucky. So I'm thinking, all right, I've got 2 Pokemon left. How am I going to get around this, Ursaluna, and one other really bulky Pokemon too? So we're going to go into Polteageist, the other Mono Ghost. So this is a PIMPNITE special. So we got Shell Smash, Polteageist, Sucker Punch, and Shadow Ball. So I wanted to make it into a mix set. And this sweeping set took a lot of people by surprise, because normally they figured it was just, you know, Shadow Ball, Giga Drains, Tour Power, you know, the usual, you know, set that it runs. But the mix set actually wasn't all that bad. So this was a max attack at Lonely Nature and max speed, Focus Sash set with weak armor. You know, the typical Shell Smash set, but different sort of EVs and moves. So I got a Shell Smash up, which was good, but I was like, well, I've got Polteageist here, and I've also got Shadow Ball, but this thing's got, like, it's very, very bulky, so I'm going to need some good luck, right? Great damage there, however, Draining Kiss is going to faint me. So now I'm down to Spectrier. I'm like, okay, how am I going to get rid of these last 3 Pokemon? Now, of course, Spectrier is a good Pokemon, but it's not like a Calyrex Shadow Rider, right? It's not that powerful, so it does need a little bit of a boost. So I've got Draining Kiss and Shadow Ball, Substitute and Swift for Disrespect. So first I put up the sub, and I got a Paralyze. So at last, I got a Slither of Luck. So now I can actually attack with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball I knew wouldn't even get close to fainting this because it's got a lot of natural bulk to it. So I thought I'll go for Terra Ghost, I'll go Shadow Ball. You know, that should be like a 2 to 3 hit KO. Because obviously Draining Kiss will get health back as well there. So I was sort of hoping I'd get a critical hit or maybe a special defense drop, but I just wanted to see the damage. I wasn't that hopeful though, so it wasn't bad damage. I was like, maybe I can feint them the next turn. It's going to be close, right? So Draining Kiss is obviously going to break my sub here. My item was also Silk Scarf as well to boost up that swift damage, you know. Timid Nature, max speed and special attack. So they're going to get some health back. As you can see, it's very close. I was like, man, it's almost about the damage that I did before. So it's going to be a close one, right? So I'm hoping that I can feint it. So go for Shadow Ball, and of course, they lived on 1 health and got a Draining Kiss off. I was like, oh, damn it. So Draining Kiss does a very, very big chunk of damage to me. It's like, all right. They got some health back, sure, but it wasn't quite enough to live another Shadow Ball. But I'm in a very, very bad spot at the moment. So I thought, okay, I've got Shadow Ball. I can get rid of that. Now, there was the problem, right, of the Ursaluna, and their last Pokemon, too, was a bit of an issue. So I had those 2 to worry about. I did get a special attack rise here, but remember, I can't use my main stab move as easy. So they brought in Bastodon. Now, I know Bastodon very well, and I was like, the only way you can truly do damage to me here would be like a weak move or Metal Burst. So I went for Sub here, and they went for Metal Burst. That gave me a free substitute up there. So I'm like, oh, this is good. I mean, if you want to swap into the other Pokemon, you can. Even if I go Shadow Ball here, I've still got a substitute upright. And remember, they've taken a lot of damage from that burn earlier on. So now they're going to be down to half health, right? So another little bit of burn damage. So all those swap-ins with Misdreavus earlier on were, you know, paying dividends here, right? So we're going to go for that Draining Kiss. It did all right damage. It wasn't bad, thanks to the boost I got. And it also allowed me to heal too. So I thought, that Bastodon, right, if I can get Substitute up again, because obviously it's going to be broken, what is it going to do to me? Bastodon's offensive stats are basically 0, right? And you know it's got Metal Burst and Body Press, so what are the other moves that it has to actually hit me with? So now Ursaluna's down to a little bit of health. I was like, oh, this is good. I could easily feint them here with the Draining Kiss. So I took them out. Crit obviously didn't matter there. So now I've got a fairly decent amount of health left, which is really, really good. So I thought, this is great. I can go for the sub to get the dub, go Shadow Ball, right? And then finish him off with a Swift. This will be perfect. They got a +2 in the special attack. So I thought, okay, first things first, I know they're going to go for Metal Burst, obviously. Let's go for the sub here. Here comes the Metal Burst, and here comes the Salty Rage Quit. As soon as they seen that substitute, they were out. They tapped out for the night. There we go, people. An awesome battle, awesome comeback there. Let's get a like on the video. Tell me what your favorite Ghost-type Pokemon is in the comment section below. Let's do it, and let's get on to battle number 2. What an awesome, that was a clutch comeback there. And things are not looking good too. I guess I just knew, I know I know all Pokemon. I know their movesets and how they work. I mean, what else could they have done there than, you know, Metal Burst, right? All right, first Pokemon we got is a mega huge counter. So I seen this, I was like, well, I can't swap into any other Pokemon. So now they're gonna get a free +1 as special attack. So this outspeeds my entire team. The only thing I've really truly got here is Shadow Sneak. It's like, I don't even know if that will even feint it, right? And they got close, but it didn't take them out. Astral Barrage spam from the Calyrex is going to be very bad. So that's the end of 2 Pokemon so far. If I had a Dark type move, that would have been good, but, you know, I'd say it probably had Focus Sash anyway, they normally do. So that's 2 special attack boosts here. We're going to go into Polteageist now. So Polteageist has Sucker Punch, but I thought, no, I'm going to get Shell Smash up. I'm going to get that up. And then I'm going to go for Sucker Punch afterwards, right? Or whatever, because it might have a chance of outspeeding me, unless it's like, say, Choice Scarf, right? They see, you know, little Timmy seen by team, like, oh, I'm just going to press Astral Barrage and, you know, just walk away from my game because I'm going to win, right? So I'm going to get the Shell Smash and then go for Sucker Punch, just in case. So I've got that Shell Smash going. Now, with max attack on Polteageist, it actually it still doesn't have as much special attack with no investment. Just to give you an idea, right? But it's more for surprise. So Sucker Punch takes out the Calyrex, that's good, but my team, I almost lost half my team there, right? Which is bad. Next Pokemon we got is going to be Flutterlane. Now, this has got the booster energy, like, oh, here we go. What's it going to be, speed or special attack? And all special attacks. Like, okay, that's good. I know that I can outspeed that. Polteageist, I cannot use because they don't have an item anymore, so it will fail. So I'm going to absolutely have to use Shadow Ball here. I feel like Sucker Punch won't quite be enough to take it out. It's going to get close, but I know that Shadow Ball will, definitely take it out there. Even with no special attack EV investment or, anything like that, because Fluttermane has a fat special defensive stat. Obviously very good special attack and speed too, so it's a great Pokemon. So I was thinking about this for quite a while, actually. I'm like, if I lose my Poltergeist here, I think it's over because, let's be real, Calyrex, Shadowride, and Fluttermane is a big ask for this team, right? So we're going to drop that. So that's 2 mega counters down. So I'm like, okay, this is nice now. I'm feeling good about this. We might be able to make a comeback here. Next Pokemon is Dragonite. I'm like, yeah, okay. Now, I could go Poltergeist. I could go Shadow Ball. They could go Terra Normal, expecting that. They can't go Extreme Speed, though. So I did think about this for a bit. I thought, well, worst case scenario, I faint here, and they faint me with like Earthquake or anything like that. I'm not really that fussed. I got rid of those first 2 Pokemon, which is my main goal. So now we've got a Terra Dragonite here. It's going to be Terra Normal. Wow, I never seen that one coming. I figured they'd do that because my entire team is Ghost, and them being a normal type gives them a huge advantage over my team because I won't be able to use any of my Ghost moves, which is all stab. So I'm going to have to, use completely like stabless sort of moves against them. And Dragonite's got multi-scale. It could have Roost too. So this is a big problem. So half my team is now gone. I'm thinking, what am I going to do here? How am I going to get around this? I noticed it went for Scale Shots. I thought, oh, okay, Houndstone. That'll be good with Body Press. Now, Body Press was my answer to normal type Pokemon. And I figured I may as well go for that. So this Houndstone is actually going to take Dragonite's attacks really, really well with my defensive set, right? If I run it more of a sweeping set, it wouldn't have been so good. So that's, I'd say that's definitely, loaded dice, extreme speed Dragonite, right? So they're dropping the defenses and Body Press takes all the way down to 1 health. Like, come on. So I can use anything here. I'll just use Body Press again. Then they went for a Roost. I'm like, yep, I know they've got Roost. It's pretty common on the Dragonite set. The problem is Roost is not going to help them at all. Absolutely not. Because you're still a normal type, right? So that is the end of Dragonite. They probably would have been better off there going for Scale Shot. But I wouldn't have fainted regardless, right? Half their team's down. Now I'm clawing back this W. Now, in comes a Koraidon, right? So the hits keep coming. So at least they can't use Collision Course, but I was like, man, they're going to use Flare Blitz against my Fluffy, right? There's not much I could do. Now, I went for Play Rough in case they went for Sword Dance for some damage output there. That would have been, instead of going for Shadow Sneak, not that I would have got a lot against them anyway. So now we're going to go into the Goat Dusknoir. This Pokemon's got some, fat defenses, and it's got Heat Rock. I'm like, that's bad. So I've got Psychic. I thought, well, this will be a great sponge for Koraidon's Flare Blitz, right? I'll be able to use a combination of Pain Split and Keyberry here to drop their health and then maybe hit them with a Psychic, and I might be able to get around them. Dusknoir's offensive stats aren't the greatest. I mean, its attack's all right, but not so much a special attack. There's more of a, a bulky, gimmicky set. So here comes another Flare Blitz here. In the sun, Dusknoir tanks that rather nicely, and some more recall on Koraidon. So I just went for a Psychic here on Koraidon, and it failed to take it out. I kind of guessed that. At this stage, like, well, what are they going to do? So they went for U-turn and it failed to take me out. So it's so bulky. Dusknoir's also, I might have gone for Pain Split there, but I thought maybe I was, over-predicting there if they'd swap. So at this stage, I got a Psychic off. Their last Pokemon is Chiron 1. Like, bro, this team is freaking stacked. How am I still in this, right? So Ice Beam is going to take Dusknoir out. So I've got one more Pokeball left. And that Pokemon is Spectrier. So I thought, all right, I've got Shadow Ball and I've got Draining Kiss. I know that I can take out that Koraidon. I've also got Terra Ghost too, but I thought, it's not probably a smart option to attack them here because they've obviously got something like Ice Beam. They've got Draco Meteor. Those attacks are going to do tons and tons of damage and probably fate my Spectrier. However, if I go for sub, they may go for something like that, and then that'll give me an opportunity to, to maybe survive. And they went for Draco Meteor and a miss. So my senses were right. They were going to try and finish me that turn. I was actually pretty lucky that they missed there, but that still would have dropped their special attack if it did land. So I definitely would have lived another, attack after this. And clearly there weren't choice specs either. So we got that Terra Ghost now. I can freely go for Shadow Ball here and attack them right. Kyurem is very, very bulky, so it's going to be able to live. I know it's going to be able to live one, but I was like, two should take them out with the Terra Ghost. And I was like, yep, that's great. That's, enough damage. And I've still got my substitute as well. Here comes the Ice Beam. Ice Beam crits me. I would have lived an Ice Beam there, kind of badly with Spectrier. Its special defense is 80, so it's a little bit better than its defense. I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball here. I was like, this is perfect, right? Koraidon's on a little bit of health. I can finish it off with Swift, right? And it could be a Swift victory. So that's the end of Kyurem there. And we got a couple more left here. So we got, that Koraidon in the back. And now we got Superior. I was like, I can't use Swift here. Because this will start using Leaf Storm. So I better go for Shadow Ball and finish this off. It might have, and something annoying as well, like Glare, Leech Seed, those sort of things. Superior's going to get dropped. That didn't really surprise me. I did have +1 in special attack. I mean, this snowballs very, very fast, for sure. Last Pokemon is going to be Koraidon. It's time to go for a Swift here. I mean, after the start of that battle, it looked very, very doubtful I was even going to win this. And then they salty canceled right before I won. Wow. So after having an overwhelming Pokemon like their own Calyrex Shatterai just spamming A, it was okay for them to do it. They wouldn't have quit that battle if they still had that Calyrex there. But anyway, let's get a like on the video. We're getting tons and tons of salt tonight. It's on this spooky video. Next Pokemon battle, I'm not sure some of these trainers' names here. If someone wants to translate them, that would be absolutely awesome. This is a pretty salty first start. We had a Golem lead, and I missed my Will-O-Miss, and it flung a big nugget at me. And that is the most highest power item you can fling too. So that took me out in one shot. Maybe it might not have mattered even if they were burned, actually. It might not have mattered. But I know if I hit the Will-O-Wisp, burn them, broke their sturdy, and Hex would have dominated them. But that's how it is. Sometimes moves miss. So Banette here is going to be trying to get around this Golem with Trailblaze. Its speed really isn't all that good, but I tried to make a speedy one here. Fortunately, this matchup allowed me to get a super effective move there. And obviously, that crit did matter. So, Golem is down, so that's good. But this person had an interesting team, right? They didn't just have one Golem. They had more Golems. This was a team of Golems. So, you can guess what it is, right? It's an explosion team. But I was laughing at the team preview because for them it's bad, right? Because they can't use explosion, at least on these Golems here, right? But they did have other ways of using it. So Banette is going to faint there. Now I've got Houndstone. I thought would be a solid pick here. I've got Body Press. Not that Body Press is going to do a lot, because Golem has a lot of defense itself, right? So going for Body Press, and it did about as much as I thought there. Not too much. So I think they tried. They probably tried for a Paralyzer Thunder Punch there. I guess that's for water Pokemon. So they seem to have other moves than Explosion too. Not that not that they would have used Explosion there. So 2 Golems are down. Oh, we got Golem the Gourmet, and this is a Lola Golem. So this is going to have Explosion, and it's going to be able to hit me as well, because it's going to be an electric type Explosion. And they use it straight away. So like, okay, this is going to be interesting. How much health do I have? I wonder if I can live this or not. And it took me out. I was like, bro, that's a powerful attack there. Very, very powerful. I wonder if Houndstone at full health would have lived that. Like, I was max health and max attack. I don't know if they had choice band, though. If someone wants to do a damage calc, that'd be interesting, right? Like a galvanized explosion there. Let me know. I'm just curious. Without a choice band. I know a choice band would have fainted me, but one without it, maybe. All right, in comes another nuke here. This is a normal Golem. I was like, let's go for sub here. I smell a rat, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to go for Metronomes. Like, oh, it's a Metronome Golem as well as Explosion. And they got Rock Slide. It's like you wouldn't read about. They were so lucky. So that's going to break my... they got like one of Golem's moves there. So I was laughing too because I'm like, that's so lucky getting that. So I was like, all right, I better get some damage here. I don't want to lose to a Metronome Golem. You guys are going to roast me. So good damage there. And they're going to eat a berry there. Which is a citrus berry on Golem. So now Golem is going to wiggle its finger again, and I was hoping for no good move, and it got Stealth Rock. I'm like, come on! So now my Focus Sash is gone. So my Pokemon, my Polteageist with Focus Sash, that's gone. So I was like, all right, well, we've got to get rid of the Metronome Golem. This thing's becoming a threat, right? So it's going to be I'll live another one. I'm hoping they don't get a third good move in a row. And guess what? They got Mystical Power, which missed, which is very, very nice. Now, I wanted to troll them hard because they've been trolling me with Metronomes. Like, let's feint them with Swift, right? And I got them. I got them back for that. So like, sweet. So that's the end of the Golem and a beautiful Swift KO. That was for Stealth Rock and Rock Slide on the sub. Next Pokemon is going to be... Oh, it's Golem again. So this was 4 Golems. There was one Alola Golem left too. So they had 4 normal Golems, 2 Alola Golems. So I just went for Shadow Ball again. With the boost there from Grimnay, that's going to take it down to its sturdy, right? But I figured they'd have some other, attacking move to hit me with, and they had Earthquake. So Earthquake is going to take Spectrier out there. Not a very bulky Pokemon. So I've got 2 Pokemon left, and they've got 2. So I was like, all right, we'll go into Polteageist here. I know that my Sash is gone, but they're on 1 health. Now, there was only the one thing I was actually worried about here. And I had Sucker Punch on this, and I had Polteageist and Shadow Ball, and guess what? They had a Cuss Step Bear. It's like, I was hoping they didn't have that. So Cuss Step's going to grant them priority, and Earthquake's going to fake my Polteageist. So that didn't take me by surprise. I knew one of them could have it. I was just hoping that it wasn't that one, and it did. So my last Pokemon's Dusknoir. I've got wish I had Shadow Sneak on this, but I've got Shadow Ball. Then we've got a Terra. I was like, oh. Okay, what are you doing? I was like, okay, the bad thing would be if they had Terra Normal, and they had it. I was like, oh, come on. So they had a really, really good counter. This Golem was completely like trolling me right now. They got the perfect counters for my team. So I got hit by Earthquake, which is a fat amount of damage. Key Berry is going to be activated here. And I went for Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball's not going to affect it. So like, all right, that's fine. I'll go for Psychic here. Psychic will work. Hopefully, on the last Golem, I was thinking maybe I can get a Pain Split off, get my health back, and live their attack. That was the plan anyway. So I lived that Earthquake real easy, and we're going to go for Psychic. I like Dust. I want to say my favorite Ghost. Like, this could be one of my favorite Ghost Pokemon, Dusknoir, out of all of them. Let me know what yours is in the comment section. If you want to support today's video, if you love the theme teams, and you want to support the channel, hit that like button, people. Be awesome. Let's shoot for 1,000 likes. Let's get it. Go for that like button right now. Hit it. All right, next Pokemon is Golem Alola. I'm going to go for a Timmy Terra here because I'm going to get wiped by this thing, I'm thinking. So I'm thinking, how about we go Pain Split? Get that fat amount of health back if I can outspeed it and see if I live. So I went first. I was like, yes, here we go. I've got Key Bear. I'm ready to go. Here comes the explosion. Now, obviously, I don't have full health, but I had a +1 in defense, and I still didn't live it. It's just too strong. Explosion's base power is just insane. So that is the end of Golem, and that is also the end of Dusknoir. The battle actually ends in a draw here. Well, technically, I won the battle because they fainted first, but I'm going to call that battle a draw. I think that's stupid. I think that should be a draw there. Anyways, thank you to that random of the Golem team. If you ever watch this video, please comment. I'd love to see if you guys comment, if I've battled you in these videos, right? All right, next battle here. We got a Gleamora lead. Never seen one of them in my life before. I can go for a Will-O-Wisp or a Thunder Wave. Now, I do not want them to get Toxic Spikes up, right? That would be very, very bad. So I thought I'd go Will-O-Wisp, then I can go for Hex, right? So they're going to go for Stealth Rock. Obviously, I can't really do much about that. I did have thoughts of leading with Polteageist a lot, but I thought, well, that's going to make it too predictable. I won't lead with that. And this could have a Focus Sash as well, which a lot of them do. So I just went for Hex and Will-O-Wisp combination. Gleamora takes a fat amount of damage from Mismagius. It's got Mortal Spin. So it's like, all right, well, that's not all that bad. I may even be able to use this Mismagius as Destiny Bond fodder. Now, this team I was versing right now was a very, very competitive team, extremely competitive, as you'll get to see. So I was curious how I would actually, be able to, squeeze as much out of this team as I could, right? So Glimmora's going to swap out. They're terrified of losing a Pokemon. And in comes Indeedee with Psychic Shot. Now, Indeedee is a clean counter to this team every day of the week, right? Because it's a normal type. And it also puts Psychic Terrain on the field, which stops a lot of my priority moves as well. So you couldn't get a better counter than this Pokemon to my team. It's like, well, I could go Destiny Bond here if they go Expanding Force. Or do I go Thunder Wave and try and slow them down here? There's not a lot I can really do in this situation. So they swapped it in just to get the terrain up. And then they swapped back in their Glimmora. It's like, okay. I went for Destiny Bond this turn in hopes that they'd faint me, because that Indeedee was bad news. I had to get rid of that. But I feel like they were going to hold on to it like a newborn baby for the whole battle, because it was an easy counter to my team, right? So some more damage on Glimmora. I guess I could go for Hex again. I was like, well, are they just going to swap in Indeedee again? Are we just going to swap into Indeedee the whole game with, its typing? But they didn't. I guess they just sacked off their Glimmora there. Maybe they're trying to see what other moves they had. Next Pokemon is Deoxys with the Psychic Terrain on the field. I'm like, oh, God, this is... I know I've got the type advantage, but living Deoxys' attack was going to be a problem. Bright Powder kicks in, right? It dodges it, and I managed to get Deoxys down to its sash. I'm like, yes, I needed that, right? Now, the problem here is Deoxys with a Psychic Terrain up is still very, very threatening, because it's not like I can come and use Shadow Sneak or Sucker Punch, stuff like that. I went for just an attacking move again. Now, Deoxys this time lands Expanding Force. So I was very, very lucky to get that hit on Deoxys. I was like, that's good. I just quietly, I needed it. So I brought in Banette here. I was like, well, I can't use Sucker Punch, but I guess I could use Trailblaze, even Gunk Shot. Now, they wanted to hold on to that Deoxys as long as possible, I feel, too. So we've got a swap here, and we've got the Alolan. Now, this was just a pain in the ass. It really, really was. So I went for Trailblaze to increase my speed. I thought, maybe I can increase my speed, and then I might be able to outspeed like that some of those other Pokemon. So I went for Gunk Shot in hopes I could get a Poison, and I didn't. Here comes the Flip Turn. So Flip Turn is just going to be a way, it gets Regenerator Boost. But it's a very simple Pokemon to use, very effective, right? So they've got that, Alolan can sponge pretty much all of my moves. Now they've got a Rillaboom, right? So Rillaboom's going to at least change the Psychic Terrain, but now they can just spam Grassy Glide on some of these semi-weak Pokemon. So I've got Gunk Shot, which I went for. Really, really good damage on Rillaboom. I thought they may go for a Grassy Glide there. Maybe they were scared they weren't going to be able to take a Pokemon out with base 65 defense and 64 health. I don't know. Anyway, so that's fine. I mean, they had a Citrus. They knocked off my Citrus Berry anyway. So I brought in Houndstone. So I thought, this is good. This should take this. They should take the bait and go for knockoff here, because I need to get rid of Rillaboom as well. I've got some Pokemon that are very fast, like say my Polteageist, but with this priority moves is bad, so I need to get rid of them. So that's the end of Rillaboom, which is good. Obviously now they can bring in another really overpowered Pokemon. At least they can't use their fighting moves here. So if this had a Grassy Seed, at this stage I was like, okay, I've got Last Respects, but I've got nothing in attack. So Grassy Seed's going to make them a little bit bulky, and here is a free sword there. So I went for Last Respects. It did pretty good damage there, but the grass is going to make it a 3-hit KO. So I thought, they don't know that I've got Shadow Sneak at the moment. That might be useful for Deoxys. But if I try and give it away now, like if I say I go for Last Respects and then I go for Shadow Sneak afterwards, they'll know that I've got that, and then they won't bring in Deoxys, because I feel like I'm going to be able to live this. So their Acrobatics did absolutely nothing, and I took it out. So I was like, okay, that's good. That's really, really good. So that's down. Now we had a lot of them left. We had Deoxys and Indeedee. So it's like, please send in Deoxys, right? And they send in Indeedee. It's like, I need to get rid of this Indeedee Psychic Surge. So at this point, I had very, very little options. I had body press, and that was about it. Then they went for Encore, so they Encored me into my attacking moves. Like, all right, that's not much I can really do about that. I just went for Last Respects because I was locked into it. That was the last move I could use here. So I thought I could swap into Dusknoir to live it. That would be all right. Or I could just, you know, use this maybe later on. Maybe I could use my Sucker Punch there for that Deoxys if the Psychic Terrain did end. So I thought the only way to get around this now is to stall out this Psychic Terrain because it powered up its attacking move, Expanding Force, and it's a problem, right? So I went for Substitute here, and I was like, I wonder if they're going to go for Encore just to take me, and they went for Encore, right? I guess it is a sound-based move, but I don't know, I've always felt like that was a bit of an iffy one, Encore working on a substitute, you know, on a doll right there. You know, you're Encoring the doll, you're not Encoring the actual Pokemon, right? So I just went for Sub. I thought, I'm just going to keep that in, because I'm going to use this to stall out the Psychic Terrain. So now they're going to go for Expanding Force here. I'm trying to think how I'm going to actually get around this. Like, well, what Pokemon do I have left here? I've got Dusknoir, which is a slow, bulky building Pokemon with Carmine. Probably not so good against Indeedee. And I've also got my Spectrier, which can do absolutely nothing here because Shadow Ball is not going to do anything. Swift is certainly not going to do anything. And Draining Kiss is going to do very minimal damage, right? And I've got my Polteageist, which of course has 2 Ghost moves and Sucker Punch as well, which is completely countered by this. So yeah, as you can see, like how big a counter this was to my team. So I'm just subbing down. I'm trying to get rid of this stupid Psychic Terrain, you know, and I'm able to like live quite a few hits here. I think I stalled out like nearly. This was almost 5 turns here, unless it had I think it might have had a Terrain Extender. So I had Draining Kiss was my last move here, just to go for, just for a bit of damage. I thought a bit of damage was, you know, it was obviously better than none. Now we had another Expanding Force. Spectre doesn't have a lot of health left there. So you could argue that I could have gone for Draining Kiss from the start, but I would have always lose that matchup, and it was more important for me to get rid of the Psychic Terrain, at least cause a swap. So we got some Stealth Rocks here. I was like, well, I've got Psychic Terrain, as you can see, it's got 1 turn, so I have to be able to take this thing out, but they've got Shadow Ball, so there's not much I could do. I could swap it in or just leave it in to, you know, to be able to tank it, because at least it wasn't stabbed right. And Polteageist has got 114 or 15 special defense, so I knew I'd be able to live 1 hit. So I've got the Shell Smash up now, which is excellent. And that was the last turn of Psychic Terrain, and I also had Sucker Punch as well, so they're probably thinking, how's this person going to be able to fight me? And I had Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch completely dumpsters it. There's no way they expected that. So that was awesome. Like, finally, I got rid of that pain in the ass. But of course, you know, there was Deoxys and a Alomomola as well. So like, all right, I absolutely have to go for Terra Ghost here. But there was one problem. I was running the PIMPNITE special. It wasn't max special attacks. I'm like, oh, gee, I don't really know how well this is going to do in terms of damage. It's going to do a lot. But Alomomola could also be Assault Vested. You know, I don't really know what his item is going to be. So I'm going for Shadow Ball. I'm hoping for the best, and it lives it. Sadly, it did live it. I got a special defense drop, but, you know, that's not going to matter because we all know it's just going to, you know, they're going to play the easy play with Flip Turn there for free regenerated health there. So that's the end of Polteageist. I don't know if that actually had Assault Vest. I think it just might have been the fact that I wasn't running anything in special attack. I was going, but then again, if I didn't run max attack with Sucker Punch, I never would have got past that Indeedee, right? So it's funny. So we're going to go into Dusknoir here. Deoxys is the last Pokemon apart from the stalling Alomomola. I've taken some damage here. Now, Deoxys has some pretty powerful attacks. I just went for Shadow Ball, and it's going to unload a Psycho Boost. Dusknoir managed just to live it on 9 health, which is very, very impressive. And I can just take it out with a Psychic there. So bye-bye Deoxys. Last Pokemon is the Alomomola. I'm like, all right, the only way I can beat this is if I get a Pain Split off before it. But I haven't seen all of its moves, and it might just outspeed me anyway, right? So I went for that and had Aqua Jet. So I'm like, yeah, that thing definitely had Assault Vest. Like 100% that had Assault Vest. Anyway, what a great battle. Consider what they bought there. That was a very, very close battle, scraping a win at the end there. Let's get on to battle number 5. If you've been enjoying the video so far, hit that like button, people. Tell me what your favorite ghost type is. It can be a dual ghost as well. It doesn't just have to be mono ghost. It can be anything. All right. This was a bad matchup. So we've got a Dragapult lead. Now, I was a bit worried that it might use Dragon Darts and get around, you know, you had obviously my weak armor and the sash. That's an easy counter, but they went for a Phantom Force instead. So I actually ended up staying in and just going for Shell Smash. I thought, you know, if it's got that move and it's got Shadow Ball to mix set, I'm probably going to get destroyed by this thing anyway. So I stayed in and I went for a second Shell Smash. I thought, you know, I may as well, you know, it's a 2-turn move. I can't do anything. I may as well increase my stats even more. So this mixed Polteageist had +4 in attack and +4 in special attack. And then +4 in speed. And then after the Phantom Force, I've got +6 in speed, 4 in special attack, and 4 in attack. So this thing was juice, man. It was ready to pop off. But of course, one priority move or a miss or something like that was going to be the end of, or a focus sash. So I went for Shadow Ball here. I didn't want to risk anything apart from, like, I couldn't risk it after all those boosts, and I took it out. So like, okay, that's good. We've still got 5 more Pokemon to go, and they had some pretty you know, scary Pokemon in Team Preview. Next Pokemon's going to be, I was like, oh, are you going to use Sucker Punch? Do I go for the Sucker Punch to predict the Sucker Punch? I was like, man, I don't know what to do here. This is a rough matchup because everything, I mean, Shadow Ball was going to faint, right? I knew that, and so was Polteageist. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go for Terra Ghost, Shadow Ball, or Polteageist this time because if they've got Sucker Punch, you know, I'm probably going to lose anyway if they've got that, you know? So I decided to go for it with all these boosts up. Now, the Mouse Cutter didn't go for Sucker Punch, thank goodness, so obviously it had Knockoff. Sometimes I see, like, I'll see ones with Knockoff and I'll see some with Sucker Punch. They don't generally have both. Generally, it's like one or the other. Otherwise, you're taking up, like, a good move style, right? So that was nice. I was very lucky with those first 2 Pokemon. They didn't have, you know, a move to counter me. So we had the Iron Valiant coming in here. It got a speed rise. I was like, well, that's not going to matter. This thing's got like 1,000,000 speed. So I just went for Shadow Ball. It didn't really, I was a bit scared because I was like, I can't use Polteageist, right? Because they have consumable items. So I couldn't use that. Sucker Punch wasn't going to faint. So I've taken out half their team here. We've got that sweep going. Next Pokemon is going to be Rayquaza. So like, well, Rayquaza can't use extreme speed. This is good, right? This is real good. So I've got Sucker Punch. I just went for Shadow Ball here. I was like, I hope, because sometimes you'll go for Polteageist, right? And they won't have an item or a consumable item or a miss, right? So I wanted to bury as many Pokemon here as I could. So Rayquaza's down. We got 2 more Pokemon left here. Now the next Pokemon is Koraidon. So like, all right, Koraidon. That has no priority moves. There's no, even with a Choice Scarf, there's no way it's going to outspeed me. I'll just press the A button again, you know? So going for Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball takes about 10 minutes to hit the opponent, by the way. I mean, it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. It takes a while. So Koraidon's down. That's good. Now, their last Pokemon in their team, so they had Koraidon and they also had Miraidon. I was like, okay, well, little bro, I think you're cooked here. I think this is a PIMPNITE sweep, you know? So we got Shadow Ball. I was like, I want to go let's disrespect them with Polteageist, right? I want to show them I've got a mix set. Now we've got the Terra. I'm like, if this is something, like, I was like, well, no, tearing here. I was imagining they were going to go into Terra Normal. I was going to scream. They did. So there's the Terra Electric here. And here comes the Polteageist. Polteageist, again, leftovers. Like, this is going to hit hard. We got +4. You know, obviously an attack, and Miraidon gets completely dropped there, and I don't think they were very happy about that because they salty rage quit. There we go, another salty rage quit with this team. Let's get a like on the video, people. Let's shoot for 1,000 likes. Let's get it, and I hope you enjoyed today's theme team. Like I said, I'm bringing lots more theme teams this month and next month too. I had a little bit of break the last few weeks. It's been good. Recharge those batteries, you know. Next battle here, actually this is the last battle number 69, and we have a Zapdos lead. Now Zapdos Galar is a bit of a problem, so its attack stat is really nice, so I thought I'll go for Will-O-Wisp and then I'll go for Hex. So Drill Pick actually misses, which is a bit unlucky for them. Bright Powder actually worked that time. So my Mismagius got off scot-free, so I can go for a Hex here and try and feint the run. Fat damage. That was really, really good. It's a mix set. Oh, that looked awesome. So they tried for that scumbag Ancient Power boost, and they didn't get it right. So that was good. I could go for Hex again and take out the Zapdos. So that was a very, very good start there, definitely. Drill Peck still would have probably hurt coming from Zapdos, even Boom. Next Pokemon we got is got to be Thundurus, right? Now, Thundurus, I can't do much through. I can do Hex and Will-O-Wisp, that's about it. I was thinking maybe I should go Destiny Bond here, but I thought, no, I'm not going to go Destiny Bond because Mismagius' special defense is actually reasonable. So I believe I can leave any attack this thing does outside of maybe a powerful Choice Spec Sam. Here comes Wild Bolt Storm. That does a really, really good amount of damage there, but it doesn't fate me. So now the time is ripe to go for a Destiny Bond. So I thought, Mismagius taking out a Zapdos Galar and a Thundurus, that's good. That's really, really good. So they tried to dip out with a Volt Switch. Obviously that crit didn't matter, and yeah, that's going to be a double KO for Mismagius. So that was a great, great start to the battle there, getting rid of, it was like a 2-for-1 special, on the Mismagius. And if I dodged that if I didn't dodge that Drill Peck at the start, that never would have been achieved, right? So swapping in Banette now, I thought it's time, let's get some boost up here. And Hydreigon was another Pokemon that was very, very good as well. I'm going to go for Gunk Shot here in hopes of some damage and a poison. And they've unloaded a physical set. It's like, oh, they've gone for the PIMPNITE spread. They actually did a lot of damage. So I was like, damn. So Outrage is a 2-hit KO. Easy peasy, right? Now I thought, well, I guess I'll go for Gunk Shot again. I'll try for a poison to feint it. And I landed it, but I didn't get the poison, and Hydreigon's going to finish me off there. This was funny, right? I got a Cursed Body, and I was like, wait a second. If they're locked into Outrage and get Cursed Body, does that make them struggle, or does that just come up and say it's disabled? Let's find out. So going to the Dusknoir here, I was like, this is actually really good. Let's set up some Calm Minds here. It just comes up as Outrage is disabled. And then it got its confusion. So there you go. Something pretty rare to see there, getting Cursed Bodied on the last Outrage, on the second Outrage before the third one. So basically you don't struggle, but you still go through, you still get the confusion. So this has got, it's a troll set. It's got Outrage and Dragon Rush. So I just went here, I went from some fat Calm Minds here. I wanted to boost up Dusknoir's special attack because it was like 2. And I'm hoping it'll hit itself for confusion. That'll be really, really good. Unfortunately for me, it landed Dragon Rush and it also critted me as well. I'm like, oh, come on. I got my Key Berry off, which is good, but that crit was, I didn't really plan for that, right? So, I went for a Calm Mind this time, so I thought, I've got plenty of time to set Calm Minds up, but that's always, it tends to always happen when you have like, bulky, building Pokemon. So now I'm faced with another Outrage or a Dragon Rush, and they're just going to go Outrage again. And suddenly my Dusknoir doesn't really have too much health. So I just went for Shadow Ball for a bit of disrespect. Bro was like cooking that Shadow Ball up for 10 minutes there. So that's the end of my Dragon. So we've got 3 more Pokemon left. Now our next Pokemon to come out here is going to be Hydreigon's cousin, So I thought, well, there's no way I'm going to feint that with Shadow Ball. So I was like, I'll go Pain Spit. Then they unloaded the physical set. I was like, they've been watching a couple of PIMPNITE videos. So we got that Pain Split. I got some good amount of damage there. Really, really good. I was like, well, I guess I could try and go for Shadow Ball here. I was like, maybe I should go for Terra Ghost Shadow Ball. I was kind of curious if I could 2-shot it from here. Now we've got a Terra. Okay, I wonder what Terra they're going to have. They had Terra Dark Crunch. That's pretty nice. So I think I've used this set before, like back when the Paradox Pokemon first came out. Like, I want to make like a physical set and see how much it does. It was pretty dreadful, and it actually did pretty good considering I had a +1 up, and then of course they dropped my defense right afterwards. So That was pretty salty. So, charging up a Shadow Ball for 10 years, and I actually got, that was a critical hit. Yeah, I got a critical hit. So, like, all right, that's pretty good. We both got, you know, a fair amount of RNG there. The second crunch actually takes out Dusknoir. I couldn't believe that. I was like, I never thought I'd lose to a physical, you know, a physical set of both of them, but they did. They sort of wore it down. So, bringing in Spectrier now, the time is right for a Swift KO. So, let's get that Silk Scar Swift KO happening and get that juicy special attack boost. So that's going to be a one Grim Neigh there. I think I may have cut out it getting the Grim Neighs in section. So if you're wondering, it just would have got cut out there. Next Pokemon, Suicune. So this will not go down to a Swift. And I wasn't sure what sort of build it was. Like, if it's Calm Mind, I better go for Shadow Ball now to get some, you know, some initial damage, and then I can finish him off with a Swift. Good damage there, but they ran like a fully sweeping set, I believe, and they did around half, you know, close to half my health there. So I guess I do have a better special attacking, special defense as that. So Suicune is going to fight to a Swift there on your PIMPNITE Shadow. That's 2 Swift KOs, but we had to get the trifecta, right? Next Pokemon is the homie Urshiva. Like, all right, that's it. I'm gonna go for Swift here. I wanted to have Terra Normal, so I went for Swift. I sacrificed my Sweep, and it fails. Like, no! And now I'm gonna Wicked Blow off and faint on my Spectre. Guys, I tried for the meme. I tried for the 3 in a row. It didn't work. So we got 2 more Pokemon left. I got a good amount of damage to Swift. Said no one ever, and now we've got Houndstones. Like, what are you gonna be able to do to this? Like, let's go for Terra Ghost. I can virtually do anything to this Urshifu and Fainter. With Fluffy and max health and max defense, I was curious to see how much Wicked Blow would do if they had it. I'm sure they had it, and then they used it, right? So here comes a Wicked Blow, and that did nothing. I could, you know, with a critical hit too, it's so bulky. So that is going to be the end of the Urshifu, and that's also the end of battle number 6. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you do, drop a like, and we've got a lot more battles coming, people. And tell me all about your favorite ghost Pokemon in the comment section. Peace out.